Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mr.Fred and Friends. I'm your host, Fred Schultz, and tonight, I got some pretty cool guys coming on here tonight. They're still linking up. They haven't jumped in the green room yet. They're putting the link and everything together because I got started just a little bit late, but we'll see what happens here. But I got a few things I got to mention. But I'm going to have hopefully. I'm going to have the Command Bros on tonight. And I've really been looking forward to having these guys on. These guys are pretty cool. And I just, I met them a couple of years ago when I was at the World Cup. And my buddy Keith Kissel is the one that really turned me on to them, and they're just, they're entertaining. And, one thing I like and something I really stress is people that are good for paintball are the people that I just absolutely love. I like, pushing them people, because what they do is they make our sport, as I always say, bigger and better. And that's exactly what I'm looking for, and Bricktop and his partner, man, you can't get better than these guys. They're fun. There's going to, I am looking so much forward tonight to talking to these guys. And it should be pretty cool. I got a few things I want to mention though before I bring them out here and we start talking some paintball, because they have a lot to talk about paintball. They're big game guys. They love the big games. I love the big games. They go back. A lot of people know. A lot of people respect them, and I'm one of them. So my buddy Keith Kissel was the one that turned me on to him, and I'm so glad that he did, because like I said earlier, if you're good for paintball, I'll promote you, period. So anyhow, a couple things. WCPL, as you know, our website, we have somebody taking care of our website, and it's been dead forever. So anyhow, we've hired Josh Silverman. So Josh is now taking over the WCPL website, and hopefully this week he's going to have everything up and running on it, the dates of the tournaments, and just everything that's going on with it, because, it's just been kind of sitting there. We had somebody taking care of it, but then he got a real job, and I guess that was more important than we are. I guess that's just how it is. So, but Josh is the good guy. I've known him for quite a while, much respected, very smart guy. And, he's going to go ahead and he's going to get this thing up and running. And so be looking forward here in the next week or so. It will be, there he is right there. I got to start looking busy. Yeah, yes, you do, buddy. Right on. So anyhow, be looking for that. WCPL, the events and everything are going to be popping up pretty soon, because we now have a new website. So, and I got a new camera. Check it out. I don't know if it's that good though, my wife looked at it and she goes, wow, now I see all your flaws. And, before, when the camera was so, you wouldn't see my flaws, That's like having Bricktop and them on tonight, I always hate putting somebody that's better looking than me on at the same time, because then it really makes me look bad. But, just like my wife said, she goes, just about everybody's better looking than you. So I guess that's just how it is. Got to live with it. I got to also mention Jim Lively. Jim has a tournament coming up in September. I'm going to be up there, and it's going to be up in Molalla, Oregon. And it's going to be a 7-man woods ball tournament. And it's at Splat Action Games up there in Molalla, Oregon. So if you get a chance, you're going to want to jump up there and give that a shot. That is going to be September 6th and 7th of this year. And, Jim always puts together a great tournament. So I think this should be pretty cool and a lot of fun. So I'm hoping everybody will attend it. Making a cutoff at 18 teams. So, and that's what the WCPL is doing this year. 18 teams, and that's it. No more. Because 18 teams, our whole goal is to have people have a good time. And that's the whole function of the WCPL. And, I was talking to Tim Schloss yesterday, and that's the same thing Tim's saying, that, when people have a good time, it's worth doing. It's nothing worse than spending a ton of money going someplace and then just, the time is, and I've done that for a lot of years. So, now I'm trying not to do that anymore. Now I'm just trying to give people a good time when they go and they do it. And the WCPL is a good time. The people that we draw into it are just fantastic. Absolutely love it. And Howdy's watching right now too, man. You know, James McGough. I'm getting there, huh, buddy? Yeah, I know it sucked. I gave it a shot though. Anyhow, and Automag Hank's watching tonight. Boy, you know, I got to tell you, that's one thing I just I absolutely love the people that watch my show, and not just because they watch it, just because they're just cool. Period. That's all there is to it. They are just a great bunch of people, you know. And what I'm hoping for now, you know, is we finally get the Command Bros up and running here tonight, and I'm talking to them that you'll want to check out their show, because I think their show is pretty cool and they're very, very entertaining. So let me get my shout out so I can start dragging them out here a little bit. I start every week with Tim Schloss. Tim Schloss has Gateway Paintball. Tim Schloss also has Tiger Stripe Camouflage, and he's I guess not reinvented it, but he's brought it back out again. So, you know, it's the original Tiger Stripe, but it's not on the same fabric, but it's the original colors. It's everything like that. So it's pretty cool. And if you get a chance, he also has Gateway Paintball, and it's there in St. Louis. You know, I'm going to try to get the Command Bros to maybe come there in October, because I got to tell you, you know, it's the last of the WTPL tournaments throughout the year. And it is a great time with nothing but great people. I think these guys would fit right in. I think the Command Bros come there. I mean, they're already celebrities, but they'll be bigger celebrities. Okay, let's go there. They'll be bigger celebrities. And man, I got to tell you, these guys are cool. And, you know, everybody that watches my show, you know, now, tomorrow, the next day, so on and so forth, because I'm fortunate. They watch a show in 10 different countries, but obviously most people are sleeping when I'm on. So, you know, and I guess they fall asleep when I'm talking too. But anyhow, it gets a lot of views throughout the course of the week. So everybody that watches this, either tonight, tomorrow, next day, and so on, you're going to want to check out the Command Bros. They're on Wednesday night. I'm going to let them tell you all about it, because they're pretty cool. And anyhow, moving right along, Dan and John Colby, he have Mortal Air now, at Air America back in the day, been my sponsors for like 30 some years. Great. He makes one of the best regs on the market. It's absolutely cool as hell. And then Dan and John Colby, John is his son. John's kind of running it now. Dan just kind of walks around and presses the flesh. Looks important, but I still love the guy. And then Bud Orr, you know, what can you say about Bud? One of the best guys in the world. Been my friend for a long, long time. Tom Kay, Airgun Designs. He was my sponsor for many, many years with the Automag. Rainey and Juby Boucher had Paintball News back in the day. And, you know, what I used to like is, you know, everything online is cool now. Don't get me wrong. You know, I don't want to get all this hate mail going, oh, man, you know, everything online is cool. It's cool. You know, there's a place for everything. You know, it's like paintball. You know, there's speedball, there's woodsball. There's all different kinds of paintball. But you know what it boils down to is it's paintball. You know, what's good for this guy might be better for this guy over here. You know, it's like woodsball. You know, I can go out and play woodsball all day long and have a great time. But, you know, I go out and play speedball. I'm good for about maybe, I don't know, 8 seconds. And that's only because I'm hiding. But, you know, I mean, they go pretty quick. So, you know, there's a place for everything. And, you know, we're going to talk about to these guys tonight because they're big game guys. You know, I love big games. I've done them for a lot of years. So let me finish this up so I can haul these guys out here real quick. Randy Camilla gave me my very first cover shot on APG. Jerry Braun had Paintball Sports magazine back in the day, and he has Paintball Sports Field in Newburgh, New York right now also. And then Ross Alexander. Ross is my very first marker sponsor. I got to tell you, Line SI, I still have my original Bushmaster up here when games were 15-man and 45 minutes long. You know, now they last 45 seconds. You know, I mean, that's a long time. So, and then Jim Lively, I talked about Jim earlier. You know, 2 events he wanted to do back in the day. One was Jim Lively's Masters. The other was Jerry Braun's World Cup. So Jim's bringing it back now. So we're going to see how cool that goes. I'm kind of looking forward to it, actually. Should be a lot of fun. And then I mentioned Gino every week. Gino from Belkin, been my friend for a lot of years. Gino does a lot of stuff, behind the scenes for paintball, and he doesn't toot his horn, so I go out and toot it a little bit for him. But he's a pretty good guy. And then, like I mentioned, every week I got my two little young guns, Mark Gong Jr. and Jaden Gong, son of Mark Gong and Lily Gong. These kids are, they are the future of paintball. And what I like mostly about them is, first of all, they're great players. These kids, they practice with the Ironmen for years. So, these kids just absolutely rock. But off the field, win, lose, or draw, they're just terrific kids. So, absolutely love them. Okay, I gave you my spiel. Now, I'm going to bring out a couple of guys that I think you guys are going to absolutely love. I said, listen to them. They're funny as heck. They're smart as heck. They play paintball. Duh. You got to have good paintball players. And like I say, these guys are good for the sport. What they bring to the sport is a little humor and some good times. When I got to meet them a couple of years ago at the World Cup, I wish I could have spent more time with them. But that's going to change. Hopefully this year we're going to link up and maybe play side by side, or I'll probably play behind them because that's my favorite spot. I use guys like bunkers, but anyhow, I won't get into that right now. So, but anyhow, let me go ahead and bring these guys out because I know you guys have been waiting for it, and I've been waiting for it too. When I knew I was going to put them on this week, all week long, and I'm going, God, what am I going to say to these guys? How am I going to act? And everybody tells me, you act like a fool, just be yourself. So that should be pretty easy. That's how I'm going to do it then. So let me start right now with a very cool guy. Please, everybody, welcome Brick. He said to call him Brick. He's Brick Top. How you doing?
Good. What's good?
Hey, not much. How you doing this evening?
Good. I'm trying to get. I sent the link to Energy. I'm trying to get him in here now. He's not in the studio.
Does he look anything like this?
Oh, all right. Now,
no, he's not here. He's not here yet. I don't know what's going on, man. How you doing, my friend? Uh-oh, can you hear me okay?
Take your mute off.
Yeah, you're muted.
You're muted.
How about that?
I still can't hear you.
I love it,
Well, it's finally we're on the infamous Fred Schultz show, showing up live.
Yeah,
you guys look blurry. I'm about to put my glasses on, actually. There we go.
I got mine right down here. So, yeah, but you know what? I don't look no better. That's what I was telling you.
I can't see up close. I can see far away.
Oh,
but up close, terrible. I can't read shit. But anyway, what's going on, man?
Not much. I've been looking forward all week to having you guys on.
Okay.
And last week when I said, yeah, I'm going to have the Command Bros on, everybody gets a hold of me and go, oh, that's going to be so cool. I say, yeah, they're a cool couple guys. I'm going to bring them out here. And, what I do at the beginning, everybody that's new on my show, I ask them how they got started in paintball. So, who wants to go first? The death card? Oh, I'm Narge. Or Brick Top? Which one do you guys want to go first?
Well, it depends on what you want to know.
Right.
I want to know how you get started in paintball. You didn't just wake up one day and go, wow, I'm going to go shoot somebody.
Yeah, we kind of did.
Yeah. It's kind of how it happened.
It's kind of how it happened.
Yeah, we didn't wake up. We were awake because we were like nighttime security. You know what I'm saying? And if you know anything about security, it's hours upon hours of boredom with like small spurts of excitement.
Right.
And
it's actually a dangerous job.
We worked at a hotel.
It was entertaining, put it that way. It was we made the best of it. It was fun. It was actually really fun because you know what I'm saying. It was nice. We had full access to the kitchen. You know what I'm saying. They treated us great, and then we were just blowing up off the kitchen. So I was looking at Brick, and I was like, "Look, man, we need to do something like work out or some shit." He was like, "We can go to the gym." And I was like, "Nah," because the day that we stopped going, we right back where we at.
Never going back.
Right. So then Brick told me about paintballing. And the way he described it at the time when he told me, I didn't know anything about paintball other than what I seen on, saying a couple moves or whatever. But like Brick, he played when he was young and whatnot, when he was in DC and whatnot. So he told me about it. Man, he told me the story was just too hard to believe. Tanks, rocket launchers, and all this other shit. And I was like, yeah, man, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, nah, because, what I'm saying, the guns is kind of corny. And he was like, nah, I'm telling you, they got, they look like 1-to-1s and all this other stuff. And from there, I'll let Brick take it. Go ahead.
Yeah, then so one day he shows up at the job with a Project Salvo, the whole kit, and dropped it on the table. Like, were we playing paintball or what? And I was like, dang. So we went to TRP, our first Three Rivers Paintball in Pittsburgh. We went to our first scenario. And we just fell in love with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I told Energy, I said, if we dress badass, when we get there, they're going to think we know what we're doing.
Hold up, though. For real, what had happened was before we went to that scenario game,
we took those kids out.
Yeah, we took these kids, these inner city kids, and that was the first time he was like, yo, Energy, you want to go paintballing? And I was like, he was like, it's free. I was like, yeah, count me in. We taking these kids to go paintballing, and we went to Steel Town. Steel Town was the first time, and we waxed these little kids, man. Oh man, I gave it to these little motherfuckers. I was tearing their asses up. I had so much fun. And then he was like, "Oh, that's nothing. Wait till you go to a scenario game." And now go ahead and tell the scenario part.
Right. So we go to the scenario game, and they got a tank. You know what I mean? But it's really a doom buggy with netting wrapped around it.
It looks like a tank. Yep.
Yeah. So we're in a battle fighting. I holler out tank. Energy's like, what tank? And I'm like, tank. When I said that, all hell broke loose.
Yeah, that was
it was like one of the war movies where you stuck in a bunker and you getting hit by the heavy machine gun. Tank is tipping everywhere.
If it's the first time that you ever paintball in a scenario game, all right, I'm gonna give you the experience that I had. All right, first of all, before we even got to the scenario game, after we took the kids to the park and we beat them up with the paintballs, taking pictures and shit, and then I bought so much paintball equipment. It was ridiculous, yo. I bought everything: tanks, remote lines, guns, camo, all this shit. I mean, half the stuff I didn't even need, but I bought so much stuff. So when we showed up, you know what I'm saying, we did look badass.
We look badass.
So we in the woods. Brick left me, but before that happened, the story he's talking about, like my experience when he yelled tank. We was behind like these logs, you know what I'm saying? And there was like little pieces. And I was like, what? And he was like, tank. And how the boys had it, they had like a golf cart, but it was completely netted, all right, around. And their little guns was sticking through the net, all right? And they just honed in on us and they were just all sparking. You know what I'm saying? This is the first time I seen like, you know what I'm saying, full auto paintball guns. And then the paint's ricocheting and splattering on the wood. So like in my mind, this is the first time I ever was in like a scenario game, period. You know what I'm saying? So the way this shit was, I felt like I was in like one of those little war movies. It was just paint flying everywhere. It was almost like shrapnel. They was shooting through the logs, pinging me all up on my arm and the side and whatnot. It was fantastic.
Fantastic. And then after that game, they told us about, in that game, we actually won most valuable team.
Yeah, we did.
And that was your first big game?
Yeah, that was our first big game.
Wow.
Yeah, that was our first big game.
Right. That was our first big game. So,
cool.
Which made us come back. Because once we got that, we was like, we could do this shit. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they told us about, go ahead.
And Brick left me, right? So something was wrong with my gun. You know what I'm saying? I had gave it to some tech and he did something where it jammed up. So, you know what I'm saying? The people, this is at Three Rivers Paintball, and they were really cool with us. Like, I love the people at Three Rivers. So what they did was they gave me one of their semi-auto. It was the same thing that I had. It was like 1-to-1, but it worked. He was like, yo, if we can't, you know what I'm saying, just use this, go out there and have fun. So I did. But by the time I came back, Bricktop had left me. Now this is the first time I'm at the field. I don't know where he's at. We had radios and shit. Like I bought everything, dog. I'm like, shit, energy to brick. He's like, yeah, I'm over here. I said, start the blah, blah. I said, all right, how do I get there? You can't get there. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to? He was like, just go out there and kill people. I'm like, all right. So this is the dope part though, because we was dressed up. You know what I'm saying? We looked like we knew. At least I looked like I knew what I was doing. Brick might actually knew what he was doing at the time. I didn't. So my whole thing was, I'm gonna take it back to when I was a kid in the woods playing guns. I know how to. I was a master at that shit. But these actually shoot projectiles. But when I was running, I had like a bunch of little kids following me because they thought I knew what I was doing. You feel me? And that's when I was like, oh, okay. And what it was these were the little walk-ons that like everybody had their little clicks, you know what I'm saying, when they're playing scenarios. But there was all these little walk-ons, you know, walking around. I didn't know what they was doing. I didn't know what I was doing, but I looked like I knew what I was doing. So by the time like Brick came back, I had like 7 little kids with me, man. Yeah, it was all killers for real. Yeah, I was lighting people up all day. I had a GoPro. It wasn't even a GoPro. It was some old cheesy, you know what I'm saying, $20 wannabe
we had super cheesy cameras at that.
I mean, taped all that stuff, man. And after that, we were supposed to record it, take it to the crib, and just, you know what I'm saying, kick it and watch it, you know what I'm saying, blah, blah, blah. But it blew up. It blew up bigger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We started because before we got into paintball, we were doing a video called League of Extraordinary Pimps, Vampire Hunters. You know what I mean? And we was going to merge. And what that was about was I was a pimp named Pimpenstein. I was put together from 7 different pimps. Energy was a pimp from
England,
Europe, named Fish and Chips.
Fish and Chips. I had like these teeth inserts that make my teeth look all crooked and whatnot. And I talked in a British, what I thought was a British accent, the best I could do. So basically, he had hired me to come over to England because all his hoes was being taken because they was eaten by vampires.
This lady right here is watching us from England right now. Katrina Laughter. Yeah, hey, I got to tell you, Narge, you know, you just got done explaining that to me. I felt like I just drank a drum of Mountain Dew. I'm so jacked up just listening to you talk, man. I got to tell you.
And then they told us about, at that first game, they told us about Ion.
Yeah.
And they was like, if y'all like this game, you got to go to Ion. And we was like, so we looked Ion up. And at that time, we were cool with Behind the Bunker and what was the older gentleman's name?
There's a lot of us. I don't know.
Yeah, Van Dorn. He used to put up the comic strips all the time with Beetle Bailey. You remember those?
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know who he is, yeah.
The Blondie comics or something like that.
Yeah, he used to put up the Beetle Bailey cartoons all the time.
Yeah. He used to always
drop those. You guys or what?
Now I'm not sure. Did we we got on radio in Canada first before we got, you know what I'm saying, like rolling in the United States, because we had met this dude. His name is Jester.
We was on Brad Show.
Yeah, and then he was the one who brought us up into Canada, and we were on Maritime Milsim, right?
Yeah, we was on Maritime Milsim.
Yeah, we were on that for like a couple months actually. How long was we on there for?
About 3-4 months.
Yeah, we were on there, but then like I don't know how.
Jester got his own show. Jester ended up getting his own show, and we went on the show with Jester.
Right. Then we was on Jester's show. And Jester really basically gave us the format on like what we do now. Like the talk show that we do now, that came from this guy named Jester up in Canada. He was the one that put us on to like the etiquette, how to control the room. You know what I'm saying? Not go off the hinges. I mean, we do go off the hinges, but Jester was the one who like showed us how to not go off the hinges and still maintain, you know what I'm saying, a specific, you know what I'm saying, aura about the show. So he was real cool about that.
I think
he had this fantastic voice too. Jester had that like this deep melodious voice. And
Kind of
when he
like you,
talks
huh?
on the show, he's
That's kind of
always
like what
cool
you
and
got.
like, all right,
Yeah,
commanders.
we kind of stole Jester's voice.
Yeah, we
Oh,
stole
that's
that shit.
cool. And plus, you guys look good. Everybody tells me I got a face for radio, but I don't know. I just let that roll
Well,
by. I keep
I
building
wouldn't
myself and
say
then
we look good. I say we're about average. We hold a
Yeah,
standard. At least
we're
I
average
try.
for old men. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh man, you're still a kid.
No,
What?
no.
I mean, I'll
I'm
take
54.
that.
Huh?
I'll
I'm
take that.
54.
54. That's still a kid.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'm not even gonna say my age. I'll take the kid.
I was 20 years old when you were swinging.
Oh man.
Oh,
I
yeah.
I
It's a kid's show, so we got to be cool. But yeah, so that's pretty cool. But well, then you guys have been playing scenario for quite a while, then, huh? What year?
Yeah.
What year was your first one? When you guys went to the first one?
2015.
2015. So you guys been in it like 9 years now.
Yeah,
I don't
this
think it
year
was
makes our 10th year.
2015. I think it was 2014 when we first started. 2015 is when we started actually getting noticed. You know what I'm saying? Because we basically, when we started playing, it was basically locally. We were actually working in paintball, like at the very beginning, like at
Stilltown.
Yeah, Stilltown. So we were doing that for a while before we really started. In fact, they wanted us to get into speedball, but I didn't want to do that shit. It was too much work. It was too much work.
And you gotta be fast for that too. Years ago I used to play it because you got to remember, when I started, it was only woods ball. There was no speed. Period.
That's like when the Brontosaurus burgers was out, right?
Yeah. No, you've been reading up on me, I guess. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. See, they always wanted me to play the snake and whatnot. No homo, but I was like, I'm not trying to run and be diving all the time and shit. So I was like, we're going to stick to the woods ball. But the one thing that I did appreciate about woods ball was that you could create a character.
Yeah.
You feel me? And then we put all our focus on the walk-ons, because one thing I think we made a lot of changes in scenario ball. Good changes, you know what I'm saying, to help grow the sport, of course. Just because it was a lot more exclusive when we got into it. Now it's more inclusive. Because like when we got into the sport, everybody always said, let's grow the sport, but nobody really dealt with the walk-ons. So like that's the way you do it. You know what I mean? So
when Energy first asked me what we gonna do, I told him we're gonna get walk-ons. Because when I first played, all the guys who dressed badass never talked to us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we wasn't dressed badass. So all the badass guys hung out together. So I was like, look, we gonna go just grab the walk-ons. They gonna follow us because we look badass, and we got our own army. Every field we hit, we always got our own army because we recruit who's ever at the field.
Yeah, so that was like the little. In fact, we even had a word for it. It was called infinite fortification.
Individual fortification.
Yeah, individual fortification. So
how cool, man.
So like me and Bricktop would and this all came from that first game when I got lost actually.
Yeah.
So if we got split up, you would just grab as many walk-ons as you possibly could, and you individualized, fortified your little squad. So now you got 2 squads. Boom. Instant.
Oh man.
Yeah, and for the most part, walk-ons, they don't know what they're doing. So as long as you make them feel like they're a part of something, you tell them what to do.
And they play harder than regulars because it's new, it's exciting for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna do stuff the average paintballer's not gonna do.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, they're gonna feel the glory of paintball for the first time. Yeah, so
that's a heck of a story, man. I got to tell you. I mean, you just talked for 15 minutes about one game.
Yeah, we didn't even tell you when we first got to Living Legends.
Oh yeah, we went through a lot, you know what I'm saying, but it was all worth it. Yeah, there was a lot of goods and there was a lot of cons, you know what I'm saying. There were some haters. There's always going to be some haters. Now listen, if you don't have any haters,
you're not doing it.
You need to step up your hater game.
Yeah, if you don't have any haters, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, you're not doing it. You need some haters if you ain't got them.
I've dealt with that, ever since I've been in paintball. Because, I've had the #1 television show on MTV, #1 television show on ESPN. I did a video that I sold 1 million copies. I got to tell you guys, I've had haters all my life in paintball. And,
So that means you've been doing a lot of shit your entire paintball career. And that's what you want. Because the second that you don't, nobody pays attention to the people that aren't doing anything. You feel me?
Yeah, but I'll tell you though, it's like you guys, you're just like right now, you're going to have people listening to you over the next week that'll tune into the show. And just from listening to you guys talk, they're going to get excited and want to go out and give it a shot. Guys that don't play, guys that do play, but now they're going to listen to you. And like I say, they're going to get jacked up and want to get back out there and do it.
Well, that's what we want. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All 40 years I've been in paintball, I have heard so much lip service from so many people. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And that's all it is lip service. They don't do shit. You know what I mean? And so, just the way you guys are talking, especially you, Nigel. Boy, I got to tell you, you sell used cars, because if you don't, you should. But
Eskimos.
Look, I'm gonna tell you a secret that I told Brick a long time ago. This was like 10 years ago. This is when we was creating the Command Bros. And I want, if you're paying attention, I want you guys to try to do this too. And just remember how this works. All right. So when we built the Command Bros, all right, it wasn't just like, we're going to come out. We really thought about how we were going to put it together. You know what I'm saying? The characters, how we were going to be perceived, and this, that, and the other. And I told Bricktop a long time ago, I said, listen, man, everybody wants to stand next to greatness. Everybody wants to stand next to greatness. So all you have to do is give them the opportunity. All right. Now, the opportunity might be just you. You know what I'm saying? Investing in yourself, creating that character and this, that, and the other. But my point being is, the bottom line is there's going to be people who's inspired because they'll see you and be like, if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then once we start getting the ball rolling, we start slowly seeing other people being able to step into the world where they thought they didn't have any access to. Like, I think we were the first to be E-celebs. That's what they called it back in the day. I called it special characters that start throwing our own games at like a local paintball park, and we called it micro scenarios. And then you start seeing other players starting to get into the promotion game. So like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what you have to do. But the thing, you can't shy away from greatness. You gotta understand that there's going to be negativity that comes with that. Cause like, what would Superman be if there wasn't a Lex Luthor?
Yep. Absolutely right. And, it seems like the more popular you get, though, the more heat you take because, people are just jealous of you, And I don't know if you guys know the Predators from England, Marcus Davis and them guys.
The Predators?
Yeah. And they're a huge team over there, and they have been for years. And I was over in England playing, and he came up to me one time and he asked me, he says, I want to be the Fred Schultz of England. What does it take? And I told him, I said, it's a simple thing. Be nice to people. I said, that's all people want. You be nice to people and they'll be nice to you. And then next thing you know, your reputation precedes itself and you're rolling. And that's what he did. And, he's very, very popular over there right now in England. And plus, he's really a good guy. He really, really is. So, it's just like I say, I've done this for a lot of years. And, you guys weren't around when we started. When we started, we were warmongers. I mean, everybody, it was just crazy. You're out there with a damn Splatmaster, but you're a warmonger, So, and people would give us just tons and tons of garbage. And so wherever I traveled, I would take heat from that all the time. And then in 96, I got a hold of, or MGM Disney actually got a hold of me, and we put together a show and we showed it on ESPN, and we shot it right on the street of New York Street at MGM Disney, not in the woods, but in an urban setting. And I got to tell you, after that, things just started rolling. Then I did the MTV thing because people would relate then after that. If Disney can do something like this and be part of it, along with we had all kinds of different sponsors and stuff that were in it. But the point being is people kind of legitimized everything. at that point. People started looking at it different. And after we did that and they aired it like 26 times that year. And I have people calling me up that I didn't know that had fields, said that they were just getting swamped with newbies coming out there and wanting to try it.
Yeah, you know what? I said that a long time ago because I used to joke around and said I was from the future. And I still think I am, bro. But and I remember they was like, well, if you're from the future, Energy, what's the thing, you know what I'm saying, it's going to change paintball? And I said advertisement. I mean, like, people are only going to do what they know that it's available for them.
Right.
Period. Like, you know, I could tell you, you know, why don't you have a lawnmower? But if you never heard of a lawnmower, that's why. You feel me? So like even like I would have known about paintball if Bricktop didn't verbally tell me about paintball. You don't see any park commercials. You don't see anything about it. Every once in a while, like it's kind of trending right now. So you might see it in like a movie, a TV series or something like that. They might go out paintballing or something. I seen that.
Or they might use a paintball gun in a movie.
Yeah, but you would. But for that, you wouldn't recognize that paintball gun unless you paintball. Yeah, because they'll trick it out to make it a little futuristic, but you know it's like a Tipman Tipex and shit. But you know what I'm saying? Like I watched what's the one with the dude who's super smart? Sheldon.
Who?
His name's Sheldon.
Yeah.
Well, there's like all his whole group of crew is like Brainiacs or whatever, where they all went like paintballing. So I seen an episode with them paintballing. Of course, they have their mask off and shit because
I hate watching paintball on TV because it's so unsafe.
Yeah, but you know it's TV and you got to see the actor's face. But my point being is paintball was in it, which maybe sparks the interest of somebody who was watching that. But we need a little bit more like
commercials.
I would just say revealing that there is this world out here if you want to bring people back into the fold.
Like, look,
Fred, it's got to be, but it's got to be a positive way, you know, because that's like, you know, I go to tournaments and I'll see people that are, you know, they're interested in paintball or standing there watching it, and guys walk off the field and they're swearing and yelling and all this other stuff. You know, I mean, it's like anything, you know, people see something like that and they go, you know, that's not for me. So, you know, a lot of it's attitude. Everybody wants to win. You know, I've never played anything I didn't want to win, but I never cried like a little girl when I didn't win either. You know, I came off, I shook the other guy's hand, you get my butt, big deal. You know, get him next time out there. You know, and that's a big thing. And people watch people come off like that, and they see them high-fiving and talking and stuff like that. That's what makes people want to get involved in paintball. And just like you know, listening to you guys talk about the fun that you guys had, that was that one damn game you guys been talking about that you had a good time. And how many games have you done since then? A gazillion.
Yeah, we be here for a long time. We can tell you how many stories we have for each one of those games.
Exactly. You know? But that's what I'm getting at is that, Pete, you just made everything interesting all about one game. And now you've played a bunch of games, so you're absolutely right. You could be here until next week telling me stories like I could do the same to you.
No, you know what I think? This is what paintball needs. All right? Now just ride with me for a second.
Oh, yeah.
Paintball needs to be sponsored by like bubble gum or some shit.
Pepsi, Coke,
like
Budweiser.
It needs one of those like juicy fruit commercials.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get your paintball up, grab a stick of juicy fruit. The taste is gonna move you. Pick a shit, pull it out. You know what I'm saying? It needs one of those.
Oh, man.
So like when the kids see them, I want a paintball. It needs like one of those 1990.
We need like 90 commercials.
Yeah. It needs excitement because you really don't need to get to the people. Because listen, like what Fred is saying, like the swearing coming off the field things, that usually happens in scenario games. We need to just get them to the local field level. You know what I'm saying?
Correct. Yeah,
that's where we want to get them at. And that's usually a family gathering because there's parties there. You know what I'm saying? There is an open play. It might not be like an open play like, you know what I'm saying, ours but there is an open play and there's that family, you know what I'm saying, aura about it. You know, so you can attach that assembly. And then from there, you pull the hardcore players out to the scenarios.
Would you say, Fred?
I said, how many people do you imagine get started from birthday parties? You know, I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've had on here, and I asked them how they got started. Boom! I went out to a birthday party and I was hooked. You know,
right?
Yeah. So stuff like that, I think, is absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. We just need to get them to the local field level.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. As long as there isn't guys out there smacking them. Oh, isn't that what you said at the beginning? You were taking on the walk-ons.
Yeah. But see, that's the scenario. Shooting walk-ons in a scenario is different than shooting walk-ons at a birthday party.
Yeah. See, once you get to the scenario level, you're expecting the pain. You know what I'm saying? You're expecting it's now you're in it. We just need you to get to the beginning level, and that's the local fields.
Absolutely right.
Whether it be a birthday party even if it's outside of open play, you want the kid to say, "Hey, I want to do paintball for my birthday party." That's all. You know what I'm saying? They seen the commercial, orders are cool, or I want this particular paintball weapon for my birthday guy. I want the Chronos.
Yeah.
Can you give me the Chronos,
Jelly
please,
ball,
Mom?
Jelly ball is a good thing too. Bringing the much younger kids into the sport. You know about Jelly ball, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Jelly ball.
John Tankersley was watching you guys just a little bit ago. He's the guy that started it.
So,
no, that's what's up. That's what's up. I think Jelly ball's a great beginner because it now to me Jelly ball is really low impact. That's what low impact should be. Jelly ball.
Yeah. But
that 50 caliber, that shit still hurts.
It leads to other things though. Just like you were talking about. I started with a Splatmaster. Okay, that's what we all started with out here. But man, I got to tell you, once I got out there, then I still got the scar from my PGP cocking it like this. It just every time something new came out, you just wanted it. You wanted it. Yeah, exactly right. Yep. I still have my Bushmaster, Ross Alexander. I don't know if you guys know him, but he had Line SI back in the day, and he had the Bushmaster. And when that thing came out, and it had a pump on it that you could actually hang on, and it didn't have the little knob that you cock, with your finger like this.
Mm-hmm.
That thing just took off, and. But the game, that's when Woods Ball was 45-minute games, and it was 15-man teams, and everything was CO2. You'd run into a bunker, and you'd roll in there like you was on ball bearings because there was a gazillion CO2 back there. Oh, man, I got to tell you, it was crazy. But, it was a good time in paintball. It was a lot of fun, and there's a lot of guys out here right now. There's kids out here, they play, they're still doing pump. My friend, my friend Mean Gene, he owns autocockerparts.com. He still plays pump. And there's kids out here that when they're shooting the pump, I swear to God, you think it's a semi-auto. They are so fast and they don't chop the balls. It's just amazing how quick they are. So,
Well, the technology in the paintball guns have come up exemplary over the period of time, you know what I'm saying? So they're a lot more efficient. Like a lot of those pump guys, I see them that they just hold the trigger and it's just how they pump and it's just ripping them out. Whack, 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 whack. You know what I'm saying? And the pump gun is like one of the most accurate guns out.
We got one on our squad, Grills. I said we got a pumper on our squad, Grills.
Yeah, Grills
run with the pump, and he's deadly with it.
Yeah, he's nice.
Yeah, this is Trina Lester. She is from England right now. She said earlier she was laughing. You guys were so funny. So, yeah, I hope that's what she meant. She wasn't talking about my looks.
Hey,
anyhow,
I got an idea.
I'm listening.
All right. You and the bros, this is for a TV show, right?
Okay.
You and the bros go to the biggest paintball parks that we got in the country and highlight them.
Well, you guys have heard of SC Village, right?
We want to get out there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. Gito is a very good friend of mine. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start doing my show. He wants to fly me down there to do a show once a month down there. But anyhow, make a long story short, that is a great field. Tim Schloss has Gateway Paintball in St. Louis. Now that's right in between both of us.
Mm-hmm.
That is another fantastic field. And that's what you want. You want something with some notoriety to do it. I've actually got a couple a couple of things going. Nothing solid just yet, but Gio down there, Giovanni, he owns FC Village. Anyhow,
We know who he is.
he knows like a gazillion and a half people down there. So we're working together to put some things together, and what I can do is when I finally get this thing nailed down, hopefully by this summer, because I want to do it in the summertime. Maybe I could drag you guys out here, and you guys could come and be part of it.
I don't think that'll be too hard to drag us out.
Let me think about it.
Yeah,
we'd be down with that 100%.
Yeah.
Like, because Bricktop, we have talked about this before. Like, doing a show where we go to all the different paintball fields. Like, we sort of did that as throughout our career, but we wanted to do something like that. Like, that's what we did. So people will have an understanding of, because there's so many different fields in the U.S.
Those fields in America.
Yeah, and like.
Yeah, but what you want to do though, to me, the good field is a guy like Schloss's and Geo's. These guys play paintball. So, when you get a guy that plays paintball that has a field, because I've had fields, when you get a guy that plays paintball that has field, it always seems like it works better towards the guy that's coming to spend their money there to play than the guy that just puts it, he throws a couple barrels out there, takes your money, and then he's gone. I mean,
yeah.
And I see a lot of them guys out there too.
You know what? You're absolutely right, and I hate to say this, I really do, and I hope he's not watching. But John DeBaldo's one of those guys.
You think?
Yeah, he plays paintball, and he really does be thinking about the field. Like he's always putting new shit out there.
Other guy. Yeah, John DeBaldo.
Nah, he's right. If you are a player and own the field, you put more time and energy into the field because you have an understanding of what the player wants and how you want to play it. Other than a person who doesn't play at all, and they, like he said, they just throw some bunkers out there and just take your money.
Like Smoking Joe at Sherwood Forest. You ever been to Sherwood Forest, Fred?
Yeah. Yep.
Smoking Joe's field.
And but the whole thing is too, though, what a lot of these guys don't understand is if they put a few bucks back into it, they get a lot of repeat business. A lot of them don't give a damn about the repeat business. If they get you one time, they're happy. They don't give a damn about you. But the repeat business is where the money is.
That's where the money's at.
Absolutely, it is. But I got to tell you, I've done this for a lot of years, and you can tell people exactly how you think it should be, but they've always got their own idea of what they want to do and how they want to act. But guys like that are not good for paintball. Period. A guy wants to take the money and run. That's not good for our sport. And I'm a guy that loves the sport. Period. I've worked my butt off. I don't know how much you guys know about me, but I trained.
We've done our research.
I've trained the SWAT teams for San Francisco, Oakland, Richmond. For 2 years, I trained the police department. All with people. So I've done a ton of stuff. Like I said, I put out the video, the Fun of Paintball with Fred Schultz. Not go get your ass kicked, but the fun of paintball with Fred Schultz. Sold 1 million copies. Matter of fact, you can get on right now. You can get on Amazon. They don't sell it anymore, but it's still on Amazon. It just says not available right now. So
I like the way
that's what's up. You know what I mean?
Like your hair used to look back in the day.
My hair?
Yeah.
It was okay. Sometimes
he had that good 80s hair.
Sometimes I look like I pissed on a spark plug, but I mean, and I rode my bike all the time. I still ride my scooter. I still have my Harley, so I still do that. But to me, it's all about linking up with good people. I'm one of them guys that just likes to link up with people that are passionate about the sport. Period.
It's not hard to be passionate about the sport, especially because of the people that are in the sport. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, they're all very, very nice people. You know what I'm saying? Almost give the shirt off your back.
99% of them.
99%
of them are nice people.
Yeah, they're great people. You know what I'm saying? So, like, just the game in itself, that hooks you initially. All right. But then once you start getting involved and you start meeting the other people, even the team rivalries, it just becomes, organic, and it's really hard to get away from it. You know what I mean? So it's a great atmosphere if you have the right part and the right people along with the sport itself. It pulls something out of you, and it also gives you the ability to be confident in different things in life, just because you have you deal with a lot of emotions on the field.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? You deal with fear, anxiety,
Anger.
courage. What else?
Anger.
You know what I'm saying? You deal with a lot of stuff, camaraderie. You know what I mean? There's a lot of situations that jumps off that you'll probably never really experience in one place throughout life. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're in the military. Yeah, unless you're in the military. But so it gives you a understanding of who you are and how you would handle a situation, and it gives you the ability to push through certain situations. Like sometimes when I tell somebody, I be like, "Yo, you need to go get that." They don't be wanting to get it. But you got to give them the confidence, and then once they do it, you know what I'm saying, they're like, "Oh man, I did that." The next, you don't have to tell them anymore because they had conquered that small fear that they have, and it might be just pain. Pain's a big fear for a lot of people. That's the first thing when they first sit at that air station and we talking to them. We talk a lot of shit to them at the air station.
They first they ask us, "Do it hurt?"
Yeah. We tell it's gonna hurt. They be all nervous.
Yeah, only if you get hit. So it's just and getting women. We've got a lot of women now, not just youngsters, but a lot of women are getting into the sport right now. That's another thing that is actually making it grow. You go back 5 years, you didn't see a lot of women's teams out there. We've got Eileen Gee watching right now. She just started playing paintball. I'd say a year and a half, 2 years ago. She's killer. I mean, she is just an absolute great player. It's the people that have the passion for it, and the people that have the passion, like you guys, you can hear it in their voice. You can get up there and you can talk crap all day long, and you can tell if somebody is passionate about what they're talking, or they just want their 15 minutes of fame.
Right.
Yep. And the guys who want their 15 minutes of fame, I say, so be it. Give them their 15 minutes, and then show them the door. So that's just how I am. The guys I hang out with, I have a team called the Band. I don't know if you guys know about the Band, but on my team is Gino from Belkin, Bud Orr, Dan Colby from, I got anybody that's anybody on this team. And the reason that they're on this team is because they're passionate about paintball. We go out and we play. Tim Schloss, he's the only one that thinks we're going to win all the time. He owns Tiger Stripe Camouflage. But the rest of us know we're going to go out there and get whacked. But when it's over with, these kids come up and they go, "Man, that was so cool playing against you guys. We had such a great time." And they don't understand. I had just as great a time as they did.
Right.
When I'm in the box and I'm waiting for that horn to go off, I'll be honest with you, I still get the same charge that I got 40 years ago waiting for that same horn. It's just the excitement of getting out there and doing it. Now, I can't fly like I used to. Everybody goes, "Hey, I'll meet you at the 50." I go, unless the 20's the 50, you're not going to see me. So, but the point being is we go out there and we know what's going to happen, but we are still passionate enough. We have a great time. I love meeting people. I can't tell you, I know literally, thousands upon thousands of people because I've been doing it for 40 years. I was one of the first guys to play been one of the first guys to go play overseas. As a matter of fact, I just got a plaque, Gio, down there at SC. This is something he's putting together now, but he's got the SatCon Village, SC Village, Paintball Hall of Fame that he put together. Bud Orr got the first one. I got the second plaque. And what he's doing down there is he's going to the different places down there because Bud Orr, autococker, Bud still has his shack down there. So what Gio's doing is he's going around to the different fields and he's got down there and he's putting these little barcodes on. So people, maybe by summertime, they can walk up, they can click on the barcode with their phone and it'll tell you who played on that field, how did they set this field up, who was at
Nice.
Yeah, just little things like that. I think just keep it keeps building the sport. It really, really does. And hey, have you guys ever met Joe?
No, we heard about him. We were hoping to actually meet him. When Keith Kizzle wanted us to come out there, and he was like, "I'm gonna set it up," but then like COVID hit or something.
Yeah, then COVID hit and slowed everything down.
Yeah, killed everything. So then that was the last time. But that was like, that was like what, 4 years ago.
You guys know Bud Orr?
I've seen him on your show.
Oh, you never talked to him?
Never talked to him.
Never talked to him.
I got to hook you guys up with him. A guy that you guys really want to meet too, and that's Tim Schloss. Tim, he owns Tiger Stripe Camouflage. He owns Gateway Paintball. The guy's been around for a lot of years.
Where's he based out of? Like, what is he from? California or
St. Louis?
St. Louis. Okay, that's a little closer to us.
Yeah, I gotta hook you guys up with these guys.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? We want to meet all or as many people as we possibly can. The more connections that we have, the more that we can put influence out to people so they can try to gravitate towards other different. Because basically, we're pretty much East Coast. East Coast.
Yes, I know.
East Coast in the South.
Midwest, East Coast, Midwest, and Southern. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would like that. I would like that to be able to cover as many fields in the United States as possible. You feel me? But like for real, the longest the furthest we've been was Oregon. All right, and that was Spinks brought us out there, and then that was great. Love that.
Yeah, I'm going up.
But other than that, the furthest, like the longest drive that I did was 8 hours.
The only drive has been 8, and that's the Black Ops Paintball, North Carolina.
Right. So like, the more we get in contact with different fields, the more that we can like try to help exploit them. Because like I look at it like this: there's so many fields in the United States, you can actually base your vacation upon it. You feel me? Like if I wanted to go to Michigan, then I know I'm going to be like, all right, you know what? We're going to go to Hell Survivors. If I wanted to go to North Carolina, I'm going to hit up Black Ops. You feel me? Like there's always something to do, even if the vacation's not necessarily for you to go paintballing. But if you go on vacation, there's a local paintball field there. You feel me? I think everybody should have some type of access to that, but you don't know if you don't know, because like there's a lot of times.
Then, right?
Say that again.
You guys know DJ then, right?
DJ?
Hano?
Yeah. We're East Coast. Yeah, we know DJ. We know all those guys over here. You know what I'm saying? On that side, we didn't really get to meet anybody just because of the distance. You feel me? So like, if we were like the only way we were able to meet you, Fred, was how NXL.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were on our side of the.
I seen you guys. I was excited as hell. First of all, I seen your hat. The hat was cool.
You know what? I didn't know your hair was so long until I met you.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, because you had it all down. I was like, he was, yeah.
Yes, because my band broke. Back when I first started, I had long hair all the time because I played in a band for a lot of years. So, I had long hair back then, and then I got it.
No, there's nothing wrong with it.
I kind of went up and down, up and down. Now I'm old again, and I can really care. So now I got my hair back again, but now I'm getting ready. My wife wanted a beard, so I grew the beard, but now I'm getting ready to shave it. I'm getting ready to get a haircut again.
I think the beard looks great. I think the beard looks great.
Looks distinguished.
Did I tell you you're my favorite?
What'd you say?
You said my beard looked great. I said, did I tell you you're my favorite?
I'm serious, though. I mean, I should be your favorite because I'm the coolest one. He's
not
as cool as me. He's not as cool as me.
That's not what he told me earlier. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
And confidentiality.
I'm zipping it up right now, baby.
But no, I think the beard looks real good on you, man. Honestly,
I appreciate it. Yeah, it
looks real decent.
You know what's funny too is when I started growing it about I guess about 4 or 5 months ago, I had a couple of lady friends of ours that we hang out with all the time, and they both came up to me and go, wow, that beard makes you look younger. The hair on your face makes you look younger. So right then I was considering a full body hair transplant. And if it make this mug look better, what's it going to do for the rest of me?
Right.
Yeah. Right now, I got to lose a little weight. Now I look like a Ninja Turtle with his shell on backwards. I'd still get out and do it, man. But I'm looking forward to, I was very excited to meet you guys down. I wish we could have spent more time together and got to know each other a lot better.
Yeah, what happened? How come we didn't get to kick it like we should have?
Everybody was busy.
I'm getting dragged everywhere.
Yeah.
I was getting dragged everywhere. Tim Schloss, we do the WCPL in St. Louis, and it's in October, I think. Anyhow, it's in October, second weekend in October or something. You guys should plan on that somehow, trying to make that. Because, everybody's there. Jim Lively Productions comes out there. Ross Alexander, Linus Bud Orr, Gino, David Bell from Buloader,
What
Dan
state?
Kobe,
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
St. Louis, all right.
Yeah, very easy. Cheap flight into there, too,
Now, what event is that? Is that like a 10-man?
Yes, 10-man.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Why, you trying to play?
It's only. Oh, I don't try. Well, yeah, I guess I do try.
No,
I do play.
No, I was talking to Bricktop.
If I have the band there. The band plays. If you guys, I would let you guest on the band. You play alongside Bud Orr, Dan Kobe,
I'm with it.
all of these guys. I would let you guest on the band if you wanted. Kevin Mack, right? Yeah, Kevin Mack. I was going to let him. There he is. I was going to let him guest on the band this year, and that's when the hurricane hit Florida. So he got flooded out. He couldn't make it down there. So,
now, did you do the Pittsburgh Classic, 10-man?
No, I haven't done that. You're talking about the one that Tim Montresor used to do?
Yeah. At Urban Assault.
Yeah, did you guys know Tim? His mom and dad, Frank.
Yeah,
and
we know
Jennifer?
his mom and dad. We knew Tim.
Okay, then real quick, just for what it's worth, and I even hate to put this out there, but Frank, he's been in a hospital for 3 days. I've been talking to Jennifer. She got a hold of me.
No.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into it too much, but he's not doing real well. So, I believe in God. So I'm one of them guys, why God hasn't taken me yet. I'll have to ask him when I finally get there. But, if I get there. But, the thing is he's not doing real well right now. So prayers always help. So, if you say a prayer, especially, Jennifer's having a hard time with it too. So we got Kenny Stewart watching right now. When you guys were down there, did you see the museum with all the paintball markers and all this stuff?
Yeah.
It's Kenny Stewart. He's one of them that owns it right there. He's watching you right now.
That's also at Hell Survivors too, doing Living Legends.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, we know him, don't we?
Yeah, Kenny, you get a chance. You're gonna want to hook up with these guys. I'm gonna try to get you guys hooked up with everybody that I know too.
Wait, is this the same dude that has the paintball museum up top? Like, we know him.
Yeah, we see Hell Survivors.
Yeah, he moved from Kentucky up to Michigan. Yeah, so he lives up in Michigan now.
Oh, okay. So, because we see him. We shout people out like when we were in Hell Survivors to go see the paintball museum.
The gun that looked like, I called it the Flash Gordon.
Right.
Those guns
you got these guns that look like they came out of Flash Gordon.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to describe them. You know what I'm talking about? There's a whole set of them that look real futuristic.
Yeah, some of this stuff that they got out now, some of the paintball, they shoot paintball, but a lot of them shoot what the heck? So it's the word I'm looking for. Anyhow, the long ball with the hair on it. First strikes, yeah. Yeah, I mean, some of them markers, man, they look so real. You step out on the street with that, you're going to get shot.
Yeah, I got a couple of them.
Some of
you
that
got to transport those in a case.
At least.
Yeah.
At least, yeah. Trigonomics markers, that's what he calls them. There they are. That's what Kenny said there. Yep. What do you think of these guys, huh? I got to have you guys back on. I've already shot over my hour. But you know,
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I haven't even touched on what I want to talk with you guys about. You guys are extremely entertaining. I can't even tell you how much I've enjoyed this.
I wish you had some questions written down, because now I want to know.
I shoot from the hip, though. You know, matter of fact, once you got going, I damn near went and got me a sandwich because you were going so good. I thought, hell, I didn't even have to sit here and watch him. He's doing fine.
So you know what? This is what we need to do. All right.
I'm all ears.
We need to set like the October game you were talking about in St. Louis. So when we go down there, we're specifically going to hang out with you.
You would not be the entire time. And you absolutely would. And you would meet, you know, let me tell you who we had parking cars this last. We had Ross Alexander, Bud Orr, and Jim Lively. They were parking cars. You know, I mean, so you ain't going to find them guys parking cars anywhere but there. Right. You come out there, you guys would be treated like kings. I would make sure of it. Dope. And I would let you guys guest on the band with us. You know, you just come out and play and have a good time with us. It's 10 men. I got to tell you, I think you would more than enjoy it. And we go out to eat Saturday night. We go out to eat. We have it's just a good time. You guys would love it.
So this is in October. Like, is this what do we have anything in October?
I actually don't think we have anything in October.
I'm terrible with the schedule. I'm terrible. I have no idea the games that I know. Like,
he just shows up. Basically. King Arthur, he's Merlin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yep.
I'm King Arthur, Merlin. I'd be like, I need help. He pops up.
Yeah, I just show up. So he'll tell me. But I know now it's in October now. Is it like the first, second, or third, fourth week in October?
I think it's the second weekend in October.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Yeah, we could definitely. We're gonna line that up. We're gonna find out the exact dates, and we're gonna actually add that to the schedule. And now that's gonna be a game. Now, listen, if we play, you know, co-sign with your guys on the 10-man, that's dope. But if they be like, nah, that's cool too. I'm not mad. As long as we down there kicking it with y'all,
it's my team.
I'm with it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to be calling him and ask him here real quick.
All right.
See if he answers. He's an old guy.
What you guys doing over there?
Yeah.
He might be sleeping.
Yeah. Automatic. He's sleeping. Yeah. He's an old guy.
Give me a pickle.
But,
touch the pickles. I'm just saying you can get them. Don't touch it.
Well, we're definitely with that, with the 10-man.
That sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to having you guys back on again too. I'd like to do this again. Normally, you know, I'd like to do this in a couple of weeks if you guys are interested in coming back on. And if you guys don't mind, you know, I'll bring a couple of my friends on. I'll bring Bud on, you know, maybe Dan Colby from Immortal Air. That's and cool. Yeah, because, you know, the more people, you know, what, like I always say, individually, we can all do something for paintball. But collectively, when we all work together, you do a lot for the sport, you know? And when you get smart guys meeting smart guys, next thing you know, you got two smart guys that are working on something. And that's the whole ticket for me. You know, if you want to, like I say, if you want to keep building paintball and you're passionate about it, that's how you do it. Cut and dry.
Cut and dry.
So maybe I could have you guys back on in a couple of weeks. It's October 11th and 12th. Right on, Kenny. Yeah, it's October 11th and 12th, the tournament in St. Louis.
Oh, it's already
write that down.
It's already in the calendar.
You will have a great time. When we're done, you will give me a hug and go, man, you showed us one of the coolest times ever since I played my very first big scenario game.
Now, you be going to Mitch Gaynor now, because Mitch Gaynor showed us a hell of a time in Super Game Oregon.
He did.
That shit was legendary.
Mitch is a friend of mine. When he's sober, he's terrific. Yeah.
We don't like sober Mitch.
Okay, well then
we don't want sober Mitch.
Yeah, we don't like. So we like drunk Mitch. Drunk Mitch.
He could be your king then. Wow. I love it.
Every time we're around Mitch, it's drunk Mitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the Mitch we know. That's the Mitch we like. Sober Mitch seems
Quiet.
off.
Yeah, he seems
he'd be all
quiet. Don't want to
boring.
do nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a good guy. He really is.
Yeah,
I got
we
him
fuck
all
with
the
Mitch.
time now. Yep. So, what do you think? Can I drag you guys back on in a couple of weeks? Like maybe 2-3
Hey.
weeks?
Sure.
Just let us know when you're ready, and we'll prepare. And just like this time, I'll look a lot better next time. I'll have my.
Oh, you look great. No, man. The worse you look, the better I look. I like that. So, that's why I was saying at the beginning of the show. I hate putting on people that look better than I do, and both you guys look better than I do. But I've learned to live with it. The older you get, you start forgetting about that stuff. So
I'll take that as a compliment. That beard has skyrocketed you up, brother. That beard is an upgrade. I'm telling you. We're like here now, like real talk. Like, oh shit, this beard is nice. Step my shit up.
Well, guys, I'm going to let you say goodbye to everybody one at a time, but let me start right off the top by thanking you so much for taking the time to come on here tonight. I enjoyed it, and I am really looking forward to having you guys back on in a couple of weeks, because I think we just scratched the surface of what maybe we could put together and do in the future for the sport of paintball.
Well, listen,
I only work with winners. #1 television show, ESPN, #1 television show on MTV, #1 video. I only work with winners. I only do things that win. And I think we could do something.
Well, since you said that, all right, we'll be on your show anytime you need us to be on the show. All right.
Well, I'd like to have you
Energy
back
One from the Command Bros.
Yeah, I just like to have you on in a couple of weeks. I want to bring some people on. I want to bring some people on and introduce you to some people. Some of my friends, and these guys. They just they have a lot of pull in the industry. They're very, very good, and I think they would enjoy the heck right out of you guys. So tonight they were watching us from Canada, Hawaii. I don't know if my buddy from Australia checked in tonight, but in England. So yeah, so we're getting around. I want to introduce you to all of my friends too. I think they would absolutely love you guys. So
you know what? We're going to try to bring all our friends over to meet your friends, so we can all be friends.
There you go. There you go. Man, I like it.
Man.
I got to tell you.
All right, Bricktop, start it off.
All right, Bricktop, I'll let you go first. But Bricktop, thanks so much for hooking up tonight with me. I really do appreciate it. And I'm looking forward in a couple of weeks having you back. So I'll just say goodbye to everybody.
All right, I appreciate you having us on. I had a great time. Shout out to everybody's viewing this. Don't forget, we're on tomorrow at 9 o'clock. We're going to recap us being on the Fred show. You know what I mean? So
there you go. That's 6 o'clock.
Talk about it.
Yeah, that's 6 o'clock Pacific time.
No, 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 Eastern.
That's correct. Yep, there you go. That's what I said. 6 o'clock Pacific time.
Right.
So yeah, I'll be tuning in. Tuning in. I'm sure Keith will be tuning in. Keith Kissel.
Right.
So, yeah. So they let him out of the home every Tuesday night and Wednesday night, so he gets to talk to you. So, but Brick,
are we going to sign out like we usually sign out?
I'm going to say
goodbye to your fans.
I'm going to say goodbye to everybody first. Go ahead, buddy.
No, we have a certain way that we sign out. There's a saying that we usually go. Bricktop says something, I say something, then we say something together.
Right. Say goodbye first, then I'll do it.
All right, y'all. I'm going to say thanks for showing up at Fred Schultz Show. Hopefully you'll catch us tomorrow at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. We'll have a recap of what we're doing on. We love paintball because we love you. Now, go ahead, Bricktop.
This is Bricktop the Immortal. Energy.
I'm Energy One from the Command Bros.
And I'm Bricktop for the Command Bros. Move forward.
Shoot straight.
Dig in.
Die hard.
What do you do?
What do you do?
Right on, guys. Outstanding. What a great... these guys were cool as hell. I'm looking forward. Now I got to have him back in a couple of weeks. But we sat and we shot the breeze a little bit. But I got to tell you, I didn't even begin to talk to these guys about what I want to talk to them about. So I appreciate it. Remember, tomorrow night, 9:00 Eastern time, 6:00 Pacific time, the Command Bros. You're going to want to check them out. They're very, very cool. So until next Tuesday evening, 7:00 Pacific time. One more time, 6:00 Pacific time on Facebook. Please, everybody, play hard, play safe, play fair. Get out there and play paintball. All right? Talk to you.